Well, today it's a weekend, and so generally, like I've said before, days that I don't do much, pretty good days for me on the weekend. Today, well, I say I didn't do much, but I did more today than I normally do on a weekend. So basically, okay, started out, I woke up kind of late because I was up too late last night, but there's a YouTuber called Sips that he played Farm Simulator 17. So I actually, my son saw the thumbnail for the video on YouTube, and he's like, "Twack, twack," he for tractor, and I was like, "All right, I'll play it." Sips kind of, he's a little, says a few bad words during some of his videos, so I was like, okay, hopefully, well, he says quite a few, but Adrian doesn't really pay attention to what the guy says. He likes it because it has the tractors and everything on it. So my wife's like, yeah, that looks kind of cool. I'm sitting there thinking, like, yeah, okay, it's a farming game. It's kind of almost like a little, you sit down, you play it for a little while, and you can stop and stuff like that. It's not a really hardcore, intensive game. So, here's something I think is funny. I've seen a lot of people like, really, you like games like that? But then they'll play Roller Coaster Tycoon or Theme Park or games like that, or Harvest Moon or anything like any. It's just like, what's the difference? Just it's farming. There's nothing wrong with it. Do I like those type of games? Yes, I do. I like all those games: Farm Simulator, Theme Park, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Rune Age, RuneScape, Rune Factory. Can't think the name. Stardew Valley. I mean, I love these type of games. But so my wife, she saw that and she was like, "It's kind of interesting to get for Adrian." So we actually went out. We was gonna get it for the PS4. Couldn't find it for that. We found Farming Simulator 15 for the PS4, but my wife, she wanted the new one because she might play it. So we found it for the Xbox One. We got it. We haven't let him play it yet. Well, he won't play it. Basically, I'll sit there and play it, and he can watch it on the TV. That way, it's something that I'm kind of looking at. It's like, okay, it kind of teaches him about farming and stuff. Yeah, not really, but it's something that will turn on. Like, I can play something, and it's not some mind-numbingly drive you up the wall kids cartoon. So it is something I could enjoy playing while he kind of for like 30 minutes or something like that, while to calm him down sometimes. So we got that for him. I told my wife, like, it's kind of weird. We go to Best Buy, GameStop, and Half Price Books, and like all these places like that, and we get a game for Adrian. So yeah, but yeah, we went to Half Price Books. Didn't really find anything. Well, actually, no, we did find something. We found a little train thing for Adrian. He liked it, so we got it for him. So that's another thing we got for him today. It's like basically he likes cars and trains, boats, planes, anything like motorized stuff like that. Let's see. So after that, there we basically went to Costco, with some grocery shopping. Came back home, put them up, and it's been about it. Read Adrian about 20 to 30 books. Like I said before, those little board books. So it's not like they take but 5 minutes to read, but man, we read to him for a long time tonight. So yeah, pretty good day. Except Chloe, I'm not sure what's wrong. Noticed today when she pee, she kind of like jerk her back legs like it's hurting her, and I'm like, so I'm gonna take her to the vet and see exactly what's wrong. I'm not sure if she has probably kidney stone or something like that. It's most likely what it is. Makes me feel really bad when she's hurt because she's so gentle. She's very noisy. She barks constantly, but she's very gentle. She's always there with Adrian, and she's just so loving. And it just hurts me when I know she's not feeling good. Same thing for Thor. I'm not saying that if Thor is in pain, I don't care. No, I'm not saying that. But it's just one of those things. Like I've said before, we've turned wolves into dogs. Humans have. And we have made it to where it's very difficult for them to survive on their own. I mean, if you look at it, think we've turned a wolf. Look at the size of a wolf. Then look at a chihuahua. We did that. Humans. I mean, just if look, there's a experiment in Russia they did with, I think it's Arctic silver foxes, I believe. I can't remember, but if you look it up on Google, Russian canine experiment or something like that, or Russian fox experiment, it'll probably come up in the first few links. Basically, they bred the most docile together constantly for like 20 some generations, maybe 50 some generations, and the most aggressive ones together. And you can actually, and it shows you how we domesticated dogs. And it's actually really interesting, the study is. And I think they actually sell them as pets. But I think the study's about to close, or it did close because of they couldn't keep funding or anything. But anyway, I'm gonna try to take care of Chloe really good. Make sure she does, because I really don't want her to be in pain. And I think it's just, and she started today like she doesn't really want to. I think it just hurts when she gets up and does, like it's her bladder's probably full, and she just can't relieve herself. Let's see. Can't really think of anything else now. I'm not sure if I said this yesterday or not, but I think I did. But talking about going to Florida, and she said, because I'm coming back on Thursday. Not, I mean, this is like in April. Yeah, in April. And she's like, "Do you think that you have to go work on Friday?" And I was like, "I don't know. After laying on the beach, I mean, going to meetings for a week, I probably won't want to." And she's like, "You're gonna be in trouble, mister." I do think I said that yesterday already. But I put my Game Boy Micro back in my pocket instead of the Game Boy Advance SP because of the headphone jack. You really need a headphone jack, especially if you're taking this to work. Because I always carry headphones with me. I always carry some type of gaming system with me. The thing is, I kind of want to take something a little bit bigger, but it's just, like I said, it's just bigger and just taking up so much room. And it's like, well, do you want to carry it in your backpack? Okay, well, I could carry my backpack, but then if I go to lunch, and I'm like if I go to a restaurant or something and I'm sitting there, and I know because I don't know anybody, I eat alone. It's kind of I'm sitting there, it's like, okay, well, oh shoot, I left it in my backpack. But the Game Boy Micro, it's always in my pocket, so that's kind of the reason why I like it. I mean, but yeah, you can play games on your phone, but to me, they're just not the same. But yeah, like I said, if I got a Nintendo Switch, I'd like to have that. I would. The thing is it's the kind. It falls inside the same category of like the Vita or something like that. It's a big. I mean, the Vita is not a tiny handheld. I mean, it's about that big. I mean, it's not the size of. Wait a minute, got one right here. I mean, it's not this big. This is the Atari Lynx. Yeah. Oh, almost pulled my mic off. But yeah, this thing, it's huge. It's not this big, but it's still pretty big. Yeah, this is what the Atari Lynx games look like. I did take the batteries out of this, I hope. Yes, I did. If you collect the games handhelds, and you collect the retro ones, make sure you take the batteries out, because when they corrode, if they leak and corrode, and they'll just completely destroy your handheld. I was actually, I think I talked about this before, went to a yard sale once to buy basically during the summer, I go to yard sales all the time, look for board games, Legos, and video games. Those are the three main things I look for. Now that Adrian's around, I look for kids' toys and stuff like that also. But I also look for 80s toys. So actually, well, here's two stories. I think I might have told these before. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe my recent pickups videos, I might have told these stories, but never in my vlog. One time, I went to a yard sale, and this person had Xbox with a bunch of games, none of them in a case. I was like, yeah. So I didn't buy that. And the Xbox looked the original Xbox. It looked really rough. I mean, it looked like somebody had. It just looked like it'd been. It had a rough life. It was missing like the drawer it comes out, the plate on the front of it is missing that. There's a crack in it, so I didn't know. I wouldn't want to take the chance if it had been dropped and it didn't work. They also had a PS1 that was missing the power button, but you could still push the power button down. The right controller port, the things that was the plug was like missing. So I mean, it had a rough life. And then they also had a Game Gear. I was like, oh, cool. And they had two games. And I was like, okay, how much for the Game Gear and for the games? And the woman was like, well, that's my daughter's. Let me go see. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe I like buying something from a little kid. I didn't want. I was like, well, it wasn't a little kid. She was around my age, so. And I was like, while she was gone, I was looking at the Game Gear, and I was like, ooh, the batteries had been left in it. This is like maybe last summer or the summer before, and these batteries looked like they had been there since like the 90s. I mean, the batteries had leaked so bad that they were coming around the battery door, and it takes 6 AA batteries. This thing does. So 3 on one side, 3 on the other, and you could see they all had leaked really bad. And the girl come out. She's like, okay, yeah. She's like, I'll sell you the Game Gear for $5 and the games for 2. I was like, I'm not really sure if I want the Game Gear. She was like, why? And I was like, I think you left batteries in it. And she just looked at it. And she went, my Game Gear. She's like, I've had this thing ever since. And I was like, well, it's. I don't know where is that. I don't know if they store it in their garage or what, but it was just horrible. But I picked up 2 games. It was like Krusty's Fun House, like Garfield or something. So yeah, check the stuff before you buy it. Like if the old retro stuff, take the battery covers off. Hopefully they have the battery covers. Normally those are missing. But let's see. Another time, this is for when I was going to buy some toys. I was just driving by and I saw Castle Grayskull, the play set, like the big castle. If you know what He-Man is and you've played with it, you'll know what I'm talking about. The 80s one, the big, I mean, it's like almost 2.5, 3 foot tall. It's pretty big. So I walk over to it, and the guy and the girl that was running it, they were like helping the people. I was looking at Castle Grayskull. He had all these figures. He had a bunch of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He had the car and the Technodrome and all this other stuff. I was like, oh man, this is awesome. And I said, how much for, I just wanted Castle Grayskull. That's all I wanted. He goes, I'm selling it all together. I was like, how much? He was like, $200. And I'm looking, I'm like, there's none of these accessories with Castle Grayskull. A lot of the figures are missing arms and legs and stuff like that. The car for the turtles is missing 2 of the wheels. And the Technodrome doesn't have the eyeball on top. I'm like, this is not worth $200. And after when I was talking to him for a few minutes, and he said that his wife was wanting him to make room, so she was making him sell them. And the second he said that, I was like, oh, you're going to sell them, but you're asking such a high price that I didn't say that to him, but I said sometimes I know like he's asking such a high price that nobody's going to buy them. So I was like, cool, thanks. And he was like, because I had Castle Grayskull growing up. I'd say my dad probably sold it in a yard sale many, many years ago. I have no idea. But yeah. And it's one of those things, like if I did buy it, where would I put it? I mean, it's such a humongous thing. I mean, now that I'm working, I could take it to work and put it on my desk. It'd be kind of an interesting thing to have on your desk, this big, giant thing. So yeah. Very interesting. But anyways, so yeah, that's kind of the things I do for yard sales. Like Same thing like with Legos. I look for those. Most of the time you don't find Legos. I found some. Generally, if you find Legos, you find a lot of them. You don't normally find like, oh, here's this little set and here's a little set. You find somebody has all these sets and they're selling them. I bought one time I bought this thing. It's the tub's here somewhere, but it's a gigantic tub full of just Star Wars Lego sets. And I'm like, holy freaking cow, these are awesome. Then there was also I bought this Ollie's Thomas the Train. Ooh, Adrian's probably old enough to play with those now. I have to get those down, let him play with them. But like the Lego, like the Mega Block sets, I think. But there's like 6 sets this woman was selling, and I asked her how much. She was like, okay, well, the woman that was having the yard sale, it was her friend that had brought them. She goes, well, my friend's not here. And she's like, what kind of price? I was like, $15. She was like, deal. And then when the woman walked up, she goes, are you selling my train sets? And she was like, yep. She's like, yes, finally. She's like, they've been sitting in my basement for years. I told her, she said $15. She goes, $15. She goes, I'd almost pay you to take them away. And I'm thinking, I overpaid, but not really, because these things are like, I mean, probably $50-$60 each set was. When I looked online to see how much they were, they were already discontinued. They had went to another set type style, so I can't really expand anything. But the number I got was like crazy. So yeah, go to yard sales. You find a lot of cool stuff. Movies. Okay, here's one thing that to watch out for in yard sales. People will go to eBay and look at prices, and I've actually had this discussion with people before. I went to one yard sale. Okay, the people, they'll look at prices and they think that's what they should be able to sell them for. Went to your one yard sale. This guy had a Nintendo DS, the original DS. No, it was DS Lite. I'm sorry, DS Lite, and he had like about 4 or 5 games. 4 or 5 games were pretty good. He wanted $60 for the Nintendo DS, the DS Lite, and like $20-$30 each for the games. And I was like, nah. He was like, well, he goes, that's how much they're worth. And I was like, that's how much they're worth if I went to a store to buy them. I said, if I buy all these and take them home and play them and none of them work, I can't bring them back to you and say, if they don't work, I want my money back. It's like, I'm taking a chance. I'm buying this stuff as is. When I go to a store, you don't buy it as is. You buy it in the expectation that it works, and if it doesn't, you can bring it back. So that's the issue. And he when I told him that, he was like, "Oh, okay, yeah," but I wasn't going to even try to negotiate, because starting at that high of a price, no, he's not going to come down to what a yard sale price should be. So yeah, because I bought a DS Lite. I actually have it sitting over here for $7. It worked. It had the box, the charger, the manuals, and the console. And I bought there was a game. They had the Harry Potter, like 1 through Lego Harry Potter game on it for 50 cents. And I'm like, yeah, I bought all of it. They only had those 2 things, but that's what when you go to yard sale, you're buying something as is. So don't pay out the nose. Wow, I've been talking for a long time. All right, I'm gonna get off here. I think I spent way too much time talking about yard sales. Hope you guys had a good day. Had a pretty good day, and talk to you tomorrow.